Hello students, welcome to my class. Today I am going to discuss the improper definite integral of second type. Okay. Now in my previous class I have already solved different kinds of problems of improper definite integral of first type, and this first type can be categorized into three sections. Okay. So I think I should give you a short recap of the first type improper definite integral. Okay. So let me start. So that was the first type. Okay, so actually a definite integral would be like that: integration a to b f of x dx. Right now in the section a, the limit b was infinity. Okay, and therefore the form of this integration becomes a to infinity f of x dx. And in the section b, where a was minus infinity, right, and therefore the form of the integration will be minus infinity to b f of x dx. Okay, and in the third section, where both a is infinity and a is minus infinity and b is plus infinity, so therefore the integration will be, that is, minus infinity to infinity f of x dx. Okay, so that was the three sections of first type of improper definite integral. And then how to solve them? That is, for the first section, first you have to compute a to t f of x dx, because here the upper limit is infinity, so you have to take some finite value, that is some finite function, that is a to t f of x dx. Then the value of the integration will be in t, that is the value of the integration will be some function of t, and therefore you have to take t tends to infinity, right. If the value of the limit exists finitely, then that would be the value of the integration. Okay, and if the limit does not exist, then there is no meaning of the existence of this kind of integration. Okay, so for having a finite value of this integration, you should have a finite value of this limit. Okay, now for section b, since the lower limit is minus infinity, you have to compute t to be f of x dx. Okay, and then you have to take t tends to minus infinity, and if this limit exists finitely, then that would be the value of the integration. Otherwise there is no meaning of the existence of this integration. And for the third section, you have to decompose this, because it is from minus infinity to infinity, therefore you have to decompose this minus infinity to a f of x dx plus a to infinity f of x dx. And clearly this portion is just like the section a, because a to infinity, so it is just like the section a, and this portion is just like the section b, that is minus infinity to some finite, and here is also minus infinity to some finite. Okay, so you have to solve them like the section a and the section b. If both the limit exist finitely, then that would be the value of the integration. Otherwise there is no meaning of the existence of this integration. Okay, so for the existence of this kind of integration, you should remember that the value of the limit for both this integration should exist finitely. Okay, so that was the first type of improper definite integral, which I have already discussed in my previous video, and I have solved different kinds of problems of these three sections. Okay, so you can check them. Okay, so now today my point of discussion is improper definite integral of second type. Okay, so I am removing these three sections. So now my point of discussion is second type. Okay, second type, improper definite integral. So the definite integral must have the form like this, integration a to b f of x dx, but there may be some cases whereas a and b are both finite, but there may be some cases that f of x is infinite either in a or in b or some point in C, that C should be in between the interval a to b. So the second type can also be categorized into 3 sections. Okay, so let me discuss them. So what is the first section? That is the integration a to b f of x dx, where a and b are both finite, right? But f of x is infinite at a, at the point a. So at the lower limit the function is infinite. So how to solve them? So first of all, you have to compute a plus h to be f of x dx, okay, where h is any positive number, okay. Then the value of the integration should be some function of h. So the next step is you have to take h tends to 0, okay. So if the limit exists finitely, then that would be the value of integration a to b f of x dx, okay. So after taking the limit h tends to 0, if the value of this integration exists finitely, then that would be the value of the integration a to b f of x dx, okay. Otherwise means, that is if the limiting value is not finite, that is if it is infinite, then otherwise there is no meaning of the existence of integration a to b f of x dx, okay. So if the limit is infinite, so there is no meaning of the existence of this kind of integration, okay. So that is the general formula of section A. So I think I should discuss a problem so that you can gather some idea very clearly about this statement, okay. So the first problem is, that is I am writing here and we are both finite, okay. So that is the statement, right? Now I am going to discuss a problem, that is integration x cube 0 to 1 by cube root of x dx, okay. So here clearly a equal to 0, b equal to 1, and obviously f of x is equal to 1 by cube root of x, right, because this form is very much similar to this form, okay. Now look at that, the function f of x is infinite whenever a equal to 0, right, because if you put a equal to 0 in the place of x, then therefore that should be infinite, okay. So you have to solve this integration like this, that is first you have to compute some integration a plus h to b f of x dx, and then you have to take the limit h tends to 0. So here also you have to compute first integration a to h to b f of x dx, right. So here a is 0, so 0 plus h means h, right, and b is 1, so this is 1, and this is cube root of 1 by x dx, okay. So first you have to integrate this one within the limit h to 1, where h is the lower limit and 1 is the upper limit, right. So therefore integration h to 1 x to the power minus 1 by 3 dx, So therefore x to the power minus 1 by 3 plus 1 minus 1 by 3 plus 1 h to 1, the lower limit and the upper limit. Okay, so this is the integrand after this is the function after integrating this one. Now the upper limit is 1 and the lower limit is h. So here look at that, the denominator is 2 by 3, and whenever you are taking it in the numerator, you will get x to the power 3 by 2, and here x to the power 2 by 3, and the limit is h to 1. So if you are putting the limit, so therefore that will give you 1 to the power 2 by 3 means 1, and therefore if you are putting h, so h to the power 2 by 3. Okay, now look at that, this function is, so h to the power, I am writing it more clearly. So after substituting the upper and the lower limit, you are getting 1 minus h to the power 2 by 3. Okay, so clearly the value of this integration is a function of h. Okay, now what is the second step? You have to take the limit h tends to 0. So the second step is you have to take h tends to 0. So therefore limit h tends to 0, this 3 by 2 1 minus h to the power 2 by 3, and whenever you are putting 0 at the place of h, you are left with only 3 by 2. So you are left with only 3 by 2, and it is a finite value. Okay, so it is a finite value. So therefore since the limiting value is finite, so that would be the value of the integration, because in the statement I have already told you that if the limit exists finitely, then that would be the value of the integration. Okay, the final the given integration. Okay, and if it and if the value does not exist, if the limiting value does not exist, then there is no meaning of the existence of the integration. Now here the case is that the limit is finite. Okay, so that would be the answer of the integration. Okay, so I am writing here, since the limit exists finitely, so therefore integration 0 to 1 by cube root of x dx, the value of the integration will be 3 by 2. Okay, so this is the answer. Okay, so this is the answer. Okay, so I think you have understood this problem, that is, look at that, a is equal to 0, b is equal to 1, and f of x equal to 1 by cube root of x. So clearly f of x is infinite at the point a equal to 0. Then I have introduced some h, and I have done the integration within the limit a plus h to b. Okay, so clearly this integration, the value of the integration is a function of h. Then according to the rule, I have taken the limit h tends to 0 of this value. Okay, and clearly it is giving you a finite value, and since the value of the limit is finite, so therefore that would be the value of the integration. Okay, so hope you have understood this. Now I am considering another problem, so I am going to remove this. Okay, so I am going to remove this. Now the next problem is, so I have already told you that this portion is very important, and every year the questions are coming from definite improper integral. Okay, so you should know about this section because this is very important for your examination. Now the second problem is integration 0 to 1 by x square dx. Okay, so here a equal to 0, b equal to 1, and f of x equal to 1 by x square. Okay, now clearly the function is infinite at the point a equal to 0. So therefore f of x is infinite at a equal to 0. Clearly, so you have to introduce So this is the exercise actually. Now you have to introduce some h. So therefore a plus h to b f of x dx. So that shows that since a is 0, so therefore h and b is 1. So h to 1 f of x is 1 by x square dx. This is just like the previous one. Okay. So now h to 1 x to the power minus 2 dx. So that shows that after integrating x to the power minus 2 plus 1 minus 2 plus 1 h to 1. Okay. And this shows that is minus 1 by x and the limiting value is h to 1. Okay. So after substituting the upper limit I have got minus 1, and after substituting the lower limit I have got 1 by h. Okay. So this is the value of the integration. Now the second step is I have to take h tends to 0, the limiting value. Okay. So therefore limit h tends to 0 minus 1 plus 1 by h. Okay. So this is clearly infinity, because whenever you are putting h, you are putting 0 in the place of h, so it will give you 1 by 0, and whenever you are dividing something by 0 you will always get infinite. So therefore this is infinite. Okay. So the limit is not finite. So therefore this limit does not have any finite value. So this shows that the integration 0 to 1 by x square dx does not exist. Okay. So I have solved here two kinds of problems of section A. Okay. In the first problem the limit was finite, and therefore the value of the integration was also finite, and the integration always exists. So the value of the integration was 3 by 2. Okay. Now in this problem, since the limiting value is not finite whenever you are taking h tends to 0, so therefore this integration does not exist. Okay. Now I am going to the second section, right? So hope you have understood this. Now I am removing this one. Now I am going to the second section. So what was the second section? That is the section B. Section B was integration a to b f of x dx. Okay. Where a and b are both finite. Okay. Both finite, but f of x is infinite at the point B. Okay, at the point B. Then how can you solve this this kind of integration? So you have to introduce some h, just like the before case. Okay, so that was a plus h, because a was the lower limit. So I am introducing some h, so that would be a plus h, because h is a positive number and that is the maximum upper limit b, and h is a positive integer, so that should be lesser than b. So a to b minus h f of x dx. First you have to compute this. Okay, so that should be some function of h. Okay, and in the second step you have to take the limiting value of this one. Okay, so if the limit exists finitely, just like the previous case, so if the limit exists finitely, then that would be the value of the integration. So if the limit exists finitely, then that would be the value of integration a to b f of x dx. Otherwise, that is, if the limit is infinite, just this case. Okay, otherwise the integration a to b f of x dx does not exist. Okay, so that is the general statement of section B. So I think I should discuss a problem of this kind of case. Okay, So I am going to remove this. So the problem is whenever the function is infinite at the upper limit, okay, that is the integration 0 to 1 root over 1 minus x square dx. Okay, so here obviously a equal to 0 and b equals to 1, okay, and f of x equal to 1 by root over 1 minus x square, right? So clearly the function is infinite at the point b, because whenever you are putting 1 in the place of x, so then it will give you an infinite value, okay. So therefore the function f of x is infinite at b is equal to 1, clearly. So you have to introduce some h like that. So you have to compute this function within the limit a to b minus h f of x dx, okay. So therefore here a is 0 and b is 1, so therefore this is 1 minus h, okay, and f of x is root over 1 minus x square dx, okay. Now clearly 1 by 1 root over 1 minus x square means sin inverse x, okay, after integrating, and the value, the upper limit is 0 to the limit is 0 to 1 minus h, okay. So therefore putting the limit, I have got sin inverse 1 minus h minus sin inverse 0, okay. Sin inverse 0 means 0, so I have got sin inverse 1 minus h, and clearly it is some function of h, okay. Now what is the second step? So the second step is I have to take h tends to 0, so the limit of h tends to 0 of this function, that is sin inverse 1 minus h. So if the h is 0, so that will give you sin inverse 1, and sin inverse 1 means pi by 2, because sin pi by 2 is 1, so sin inverse 1 is pi by 2. That shows that the limit has a definite finite value, and so therefore that would be the value of the integration, okay. So therefore the value of the integration is 0 to 1 root over 1 minus x square dx, that is equals to pi by 2. So that is the answer, okay. So this problem is the example of section B, whereas the function f of x is infinite at the upper limit, okay. So for which you have to introduce some h, where h is any positive number, and you have to integrate the function between the limit a to b minus h, okay. So I have substituted the value of a and b, and then I have solved this integration, and finally I have got the value as a function of h, that is sin inverse 1 minus h. Then I have taken h tends to 0, and this shows that the value of the limit is finite, pi by 2, and since the value of the limit is finite, then therefore that would be the value of the integration. And if the limit does not exist, that is if the limit is infinite, then the integration does not exist, the given integration does not exist. But here we have got a finite value, so therefore that would be the value of the integration, okay. So that is the section B. Now I will discuss a section C, okay. So here I am just giving you the statement of section C, okay. So the section C is whenever that is the infinite, that definite integral is integration a to b f of x dx, where a and b are both finite, but whenever f of x is infinite at the point C belongs to AB, okay, at the point C belongs to the interval AB at some point. Okay, so therefore you have to decompose this integration like that, that is integration a to b f of x dx. You have to break this integration like this, integration a to c f of x dx plus c to b f of x dx. Okay, then this should be obviously the section A, because here this is very similar to the section A, because here f of x is infinite at the point C. Okay, and here if it is very very similar, it has very similar form of section B, whereas f of x is infinite at the point C. So here f of x is infinite at the upper limit. So this is just like this kind of cases, and here the f of x is infinite at the lower limit that I have already discussed in the section A. Okay, so if both the limit exist finitely, so if both the limit exists finitely, then that would be the value of integration a to b f of x dx. Otherwise that is, otherwise means that is if both the integration have infinite value after taking the limit h tends to 0. Okay, so then this kind of integration does not exist. So otherwise integration a to b f of x dx does not exist. Okay, so I have discussed 3 different sections of second kind of improper definite integral, that is whenever the f of x is infinite at the lower limit, that was the section A. In the section B, whenever f of x is infinite at the upper limit, and this is the section C. Okay, whenever f of x is infinite at some point C, that is within the interval a to b, for which you have to decompose the integration like this, and here this portion is just like the section A and this portion is just like the section B. So you have to compute it by the method of section A, and you have to compute it by the method of section B, and if both the limit exist finitely, then that would be the value of the integration. Otherwise the integration does not exist. So I think I should stop the class here. In the next class I will discuss more topics of integral calculus. So hope you have understood this and hope you have enjoyed the class. So till then, stay tuned. Thank you.